Now, this story is about Trayshawn Love, but let's talk about his dad, Todd Love, because this story is interesting. So, if you didn't know, he was the number one player of 2003, like the class. Now, his teammate Bruce Higgins was number two, and this was going to be, in California, by the way. I don't know how I said the class, but these two were the duo of the, you know, nation. These two both were amazing to watch. Now, Bruce was a little bit worse. He was a ball hog, and he was an attention seeker since he felt a little jealous and envious that he was number two in Cali, while Todd was number one. But other than that, they got along. Now, like I said, Bruce would kind of make some dumb plays. Don't try to take away from him because he was a very good player. But if Todd was doing things like this, a step back three in a time where threes weren't even known, then we had a problem. Now, an instance that really struck out to me is when there was 32.4 seconds on the clock, their coach decided to design a play for Todd since he was the best player, but Bruce got the ball because he was supposed to get it first, but dribbled out the rest of the clock, did not get the shot off, mind you, and he missed, which was infuriating for coach. So he landed himself a warm seat on the bench while Todd scored 34 points and would snag them a tight victory. Now, this team didn't lose all year long, and they would end up making the city championship. Their path was easy. They looked better than ever. Bruce stopped ball hogging, and he was looking like, the Bruce that they all knew and loved. The one that would, he can pass, but he could also get buckets. And Todd was doing his thing. But like I said, they were both doing their thing. Now, their opponent for the game, number three player in California. So this was going to be a battle for the ages, man. And Bruce did terrible. He was fouling, and, Todd, like I said, do his thing. He would consistently do his thing. And Bruce, not so much. He was jacking up a lot of terrible shots. We're terrible in general, but, he wasn't a good three-point shooter. That was a known weakness in his game. And I'm going to tell you, the North team, their opponent, they were making him force up shots. Now, you couldn't really stop Todd. He would drop 38 points and get the city MVP, while they would comfortably blow him out. And, overall, very good game for Todd and the boys, except Bruce. Now, this was now time for the college decision. Now, originally, they both had their eyes planned on Arizona. Now, the reason I'm telling you this story is because of betrayal. And backstory on the dad, of course. But anyway, they both had their eyes set on Arizona. Todd did not want to be fourth. He didn't want Bruce to, sneakily go elsewhere because he had his eyes on USC. And he loved the visit when he took. So I just told him, hey, man, if you're going to commit there, just tell me. Because I don't want to be doubtful. Because, I don't know, it was a tradition at the school. Their signing day was in the middle of class, or, at lunch, and they had caps and stuff, And, well, he didn't do that. See, him and the guy they played, by the way, his name was Bob Lemon, would team up at USD, and this was very infuriating to Todd. And the reason I'm also telling this is because of Trayshawn's rival at the end, which we will get to. Just wait. Anyhow, these two both were excellent duos. Now, Todd at Arizona was probably the best player in college basketball at the time. Nobody knew how to stop him, okay? He was getting buckets anywhere he wanted. Whether that was driving in through the mid-range or even a three. It was just like he was unstoppable. And, that was kind of his game in high school. It's just like this game, which is against UNLV, by the way. It's like he stepped up his game, and, nobody could stop him. Look at that. Here's this guy on a map. Now, this is not to say that Bruce and them weren't doing good. Because look at this play. Gets the steal, and then Bruce is flashy. But what on earth? A bounce lob to Bob Lemon? Unheard of. Now, these two would play, and battle for the ages. I'll say this, but not in the way you think. See, Todd came out here and he dominated. He was looking for revenge after being, manipulated into thinking that they both were going to make the unstoppable duo at Arizona. He was out there for revenge after, what he did. Now, this guy was going off. Look at this chase down block he had. And it wasn't just him. The whole team, was doing good. But, in the stands, you can hear the, feud they have. It was beef. And, Todd settled it because he would end up having, 20 points. Now, then it was time for March Madness, and USC and them, the boys was 2 seed. They were looking amazing, all right. Again, their second round matchup, my bad, against Florida was something else. They were just torching them, and they would make a run to the Final Four. And, it was rough out there in the Final Four, but we'll get to that. But like I said, now, opposite side of the bracket, Arizona would finish with the 1 seed. They'd only lose 4 games and they win their conference championship. So it was about time. Now, he wasn't the only one cooking in March Madness. His teammates also were. And, amazing games, like especially against Dwayne Wade of Marquette. This was the Final Four. Elite 8, and they were dominating. Now, the Final Four for USC was a little bit rough. Now, they started off doing their thing. But against Carmelo Anthony and Syracuse, there's only so much you could do. Carmelo was cooking them. Absolutely torching them. He couldn't miss. And when USC would do something wrong, like here, a miss, which isn't that bad, Syracuse would just go and take all the momentum. This is a hesitation into a layup, and this was a momentum builder. And Carmelo would absolutely dominate. They would win. Now, on the other side, Final Four, Georgia Tech, Chris Bosh and them, he would absolutely fry them. It was baffling to me. How do you fry someone that bad? Now, this would lead to the championship game. 2003 Final Four. National championship. Same thing. And Arizona dominated. Carmelo Anthony's team had no, answer. They would end up winning by 20. And he would get, MVP. Now, then it was time for the NBA. Todd, 2nd pick, Nuggets. Bruce, 6th pick, Blazers. Now, Todd's career was a long but very interesting one. He would play a good 18 years and absolutely dominate, especially for the Nuggets. He would later go on to play for the Clippers, and at the very end, he was kind of washed, He still showed signs of what he used to do, like here, but, just not like normal Todd. He also had a decent jumper, but most of his time it was just stuck, being a very good bench warmer and being a locker room energizer, because he was very humble, as seen. Now, Bruce's career, not so much. His career would be ridiculed by injuries, and also having a bad attitude. Scouts saw him just as a troublemaker in the locker room. Now, this was leading into his son, Trayshawn, and boy, is his career interesting. Now, Trayshawn in middle school was something else. The stands were absolutely packed. Everyone was here to watch him. He was a 5-star, which I don't even know how. Because in middle school, this boy was already 6 foot and absolutely torching teams. Scored 30-point win against the 3rd best team in Philly. He is from Philly. And like I said, these teams are reporters, they were baffled. This guy in the 9th grade was dunking. And just putting on an absolute clinic for scouts to watch. They absolutely admired his game. Now, obviously, throughout his sophomore year and stuff, he'd fall off. And eventually, he moved to California for sophomore year. And now he's a junior at St. John Bosco, dominating. Now, his St. John Bosco team is He's the 2, and he was putting on a clinic for scouts to watch. Now, their point guard is J.J. Young, also a junior. He's a very good shooter. Now, their 2 is him, George truly, The three, TJ Jackson, best shooter, Cali, you could say. Now, the first opponent is up against Bishop Gorman. This is a very good team led by this one guy. I already forgot his name. We'll see how he plays. He's a very good shooter, and this Bishop Gorman team is not bad. So how will this go? We will see. Now, already off the bat, they're doubting my athleticism. They just don't know how athletic I am, I guess. Now, here, on the break, we get a 3, and we're gaining some momentum. It was actually a 2, but who cares? Here, with the ball, I'm calling for a quick ISO. I hit a step back 3. That's nothing. Well, it's just a green. Anyway, we're up by 5 now with that bucket. We're getting some momentum. We got a block here. And honestly, like I said, it's going to be a pretty decent game. Now, they're swinging it. This is a deep 3. I'm like, no. That is a horrible shot. Now, I'm passing that out to my boy. He's going to pull that. Bang. JJ Young gets some points. And we're already starting off hot. Now here, in the post, we're hitting a little fadeaway over there, guy. Too easy. I'm going to make it look easy every time. Here, now, he gets a lay. Who cares? We're getting a lob. What would you rather have, a lay or a lob, Now, the thing is, though, they're not doing bad now. They're kind of, crawling back. They were down by 8. Now they're only down. So we're getting this dunk, with authority. And we're going to flex our muscles because why wouldn't we? Now, like I said, they're getting some momentum. They hit a 3. I get subbed out for a little bit. Then they're still hitting 3s. It's a very good 3-point shooting team. Now, our boy gets obliterated. So we try to get a bucket. We don't. They're scoring. They're crawling back. They're on the run here. So I'm trying to make something happen. I'm drained this midi, kind of get hyped. I make this good pass for a jam with 9 seconds. So now it's halftime. Now going into the third. All right. They get a 3. Obviously. Like I said, very good 3-point shooting team. And here for the tie. They bang it. So, we're not letting that happen. We get a foul on the 3. JJ Young, our starting point guard. So he's knocking all these free throws down to get us with some momentum. I hit a dumb turnover. Bridges will take it down, and he will get a foul. He makes both free throws. We get a bucket here, and they need a timeout. Other end, I doubt his shooting ability for some reason. He bangs it. Tie game. Here, driving in. Dunk it, but I missed, and they're getting it back. 3 again to take the lead. Man, Carlton Bridges was going off. Despite, I'm having some points, of course, it was kind of bad. So, what do we need to do? We need to get some defense, and that's what we do. I get a nice little lay there. That was kind of nice, like I just said. And obviously, you get a replay. Had a lot of hang time from where I took off. Then here, to take the lead, a ferocious jam. They're going to need a timeout. At first, before I, voiced this over, I thought that was a foul. Then a lob. These lobs for me are, crazy. They don't understand how athletic I am. Y'all see in later videos just how it goes. I'm a slasher. This is a slashing bill. Anyway, we got a 3 to go up 4 before the end of the third. So now it's a 4. I get subbed out. We're only up by 1. We're at home, so we're going to close this game out on a good note. Hopefully. Now, they're only down by 1 with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. We're changing that. JJ Young. Then here, with 1 minute left, a dagger right in their hearts. They're getting a good play, but then they have to play the foul game. Here, we're getting a nice little pass. Like I said, foul game starts. We make both free throws to bring my total to 27. They get an easy bucket. Again, what do you think they'll do? They're fouling. 29, my total. They're getting a 3. Bang. I don't know how we made this. Free throw up. Bang. We're making both. They can't make the last shot, so it is all over. In our home debut, we're walking away with a 68-74 win. And I, of course, did pretty well for myself. Won player of the game. Got recognized in in some articles. I'll show it probably in later episodes. And like I said, finished with 32-7-3. J.J. Young was up next. And Carlton Bridges finished with 30. That's the end of this episode. I'm out.